Roger Maris. Just standing up, waiting to see if Maris is going to hit number 61. Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow!
October 1st, 1961. The final game of the season. Only 23,000 people in Yankee Stadium. Most fans had stayed home. They did not want to watch. They did not want him to do it. Roger Maris stepped to the plate in the fourth inning, swung at a fastball, and changed the record books forever. The crowd that rose to its feet that afternoon was cheering something they had spent all summer hoping would not happen. And Roger Maris, in the most defining moment of his life, already knew exactly what it was going to cost him.
To watch Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle challenge for the home run mark, chase the ghost of Babe Ruth, and it did literally seem like every day that summer, one of those guys hit a home run.
I couldn't wait to get to the park to get the game started fast enough because I wanted to watch who was next. And it was really exciting for all of us. We had good seats.
Roger Eugene Maris was born on September 10th, 1934, in Hibbing, Minnesota. His father worked for the Great Northern Railroad, moving the family wherever the work demanded. His parents had a troubled marriage that ended in divorce in 1960, the same year Roger arrived in New York. Nothing about his upbringing suggested he was destined for greatness. In 1955, his father changed the spelling to Maris. Part of the reason was practical, but there was another reason Roger carried more quietly. As a boy, certain kids had mocked him with a cruel variation of his original surname. Now here is what almost no one knows. Roger Maris did not love baseball as a child. It was his older brother Rudolph who changed that, not through encouragement, but through refusal to accept excuses. When Roger refused to come out and play, Rudolph dragged him onto the field by his ear, literally. And he kept doing it until the game Roger once hated became the game that defined his life. Then in 1951, Rudolph was struck by polio at 18 years old. He would never play again. In high school, Roger was a football star recruited by the University of Oklahoma. He accepted the scholarship, arrived on campus by bus, and found no one from the university there to greet him. Not a single person. He turned around and went home to Fargo. He signed with the Cleveland Indians instead, and baseball gained the player it never fully deserved. When Roger Maris arrived in New York in December of 1959, he was 25 years old and had already been traded twice. Cleveland had sent him to Kansas City. Kansas City, quietly understood by the baseball world as the Yankees' unofficial minor league outpost, then sent him to New York in a 7-player deal. Everyone who watched the game knew Maris was the centerpiece. He proved it immediately. On opening day of the 1960 season, in his very first game in Yankee pinstripes, he hit 2 home runs. By the end of that year, he had driven in 112 runs, led the American League in slugging percentage and extra base hits, won the Gold Glove Award for his defense in right field, and was named the American League Most Valuable Player. By any honest measure, it was an extraordinary season, and yet Roger Maris was not beloved. The reason had nothing to do with his performance. Mickey Mantle was the perfect New York Yankee. He was the fans' chosen hero, and they had no interest in sharing that devotion. Maris was something else entirely. He was a quiet man from Fargo. He did not enjoy attention. He answered questions honestly, sometimes too honestly, and when he was done, he wanted to go home. His teammate Bobby Richardson would later put it simply, he was just a shy Fargo boy who came to New York and didn't like the limelight. It was just that simple. Jim Murray of the Los Angeles Times wrote that Maris was about as well equipped for fame as a forest ranger. That line is funny. It is also quietly devastating. And here is what the press never reported. Mantle and Maris were not rivals. They were close friends. When reporters invented stories about a feud between the two teammates, Maris once rolled up a newspaper, walked over to Mantle's bed while his friend slept, gave him a light tap, and said, "Wake up, Mick, we're fighting again." On January 23, 1961, a reporter asked Roger Maris whether the expanded schedule might give someone a chance to break Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs. Maris answered without hesitation, "Nobody will touch it. Look up the records and you will see that it is a rare year when anybody hits 50 homers, let alone 60. By the end of May, he had 12 home runs. By the end of June 27, By the end of July 40, the baseball world could not look away. And then the pressure began in earnest. Commissioner Ford Frick, a close personal friend of Babe Ruth, stood before reporters in July and announced that if the record was not broken within the first 154 games, any new mark set in the expanded schedule would require a separate notation. A sports writer in the room immediately suggested the word that would follow Maris for the rest of his life. What almost no one noted was this: Frick had consulted no one before making this ruling. He had no authority over any record book. Major League Baseball had no official record book at all. He simply used his platform to protect the legacy of his friend. The effect on Maris was immediate and physical. His hair began falling out in clumps. A New York City detective was assigned to protect him after written threats arrived targeting him and his family. Reporters followed him everywhere, called his hotel room, knocked on his door at all hours, and the Yankees offered no protection, no press officer, no scheduled interview, windows, nothing. He stood completely alone. Mantle was still in the race through August, but in September, illness struck. An abscess formed in Mantle's hip and he was hospitalized, finished with 54 home runs, watching from his bed as his friend carried on without him. On October 1st, in the final game of the season, only 23,000 fans were in Yankee Stadium. Tracy Stallard, a young pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, threw a fastball in the fourth inning. Maris swung. The ball traveled 360 feet into the right field stands, where a 19-year-old Brooklyn truck driver named Sal Durante caught it barehanded. Maris said afterward, "As soon as I hit it, I knew it was 61. Then I heard the roar. I could see them standing. Then my mind went blank." When he returned to the dugout, his teammates blocked the entrance. 4 times he tried to walk in. They pushed him back out until he raised his cap to the crowd that rose to its feet. He said later, "If I never hit another home run, this is the one they can never take away from me." In 1962, the fans who had once cheered his 61st home run began booing, not because he had done something wrong, because he had not broken the record again. The standard had shifted overnight. 61 home runs in a season was no longer a miracle. It was now his minimum obligation. The injuries came quickly. In 1963, back problems limited him to 90 games. 1964 brought leg trouble. 1965 was the worst early in the season. He pulled a hamstring, then damaged his wrist sliding into home plate. He had surgery. The doctors found a bone chip. He played only 46 games that year, the fewest of his career. The New York press, which had never been gentle with him, now added a new label to his name, malingerer. And then came 1966, which was something else entirely. Roger played most of that season in pain he could not explain. His batting average fell. His home run total was only 13. He could not grip the bat properly with his right hand, and no one could tell him why. The Yankees questioned his toughness, fans questioned his heart. The sports writers who had once asked him daily whether he would break Ruth's record now wrote about his decline with something close to satisfaction. In December of 1966, the Yankees traded him. He was exchanged for a third baseman named Charlie Smith, a player so unremarkable that even devoted fans of that era struggle to remember him. Roger Maris, the 2-time American League Most Valuable Player, the man who held the most famous offensive record in the sport, was considered worth one forgettable player in return. He left New York as an angry man, and his anger, it turned out, was entirely justified. After the trade was completed, Roger was examined by doctors in St. Louis. The verdict was swift and brutal. He had been playing most of the 1966 season with a broken bone in his hand, a fracture that had never been properly diagnosed by the team's own medical staff. The Yankees had known the hand was not right. They had let him play anyway. They had allowed the press and the public to call him weak and uncommitted while he was quietly performing in pain that most people could not have endured, and then they traded him away as if none of it had ever happened. Roger Maris had given New York the greatest single season by a hitter in the history of American baseball. New York gave him back years of doubt, a broken hand left undiagnosed, and a trade for a man whose name no one remembers. St. Louis received Roger Maris the way New York never had. The Cardinals fans were Midwestern in their instincts. They valued hard work over spectacle, substance over performance. They did not need a player to charm them or entertain them off the field. They simply wanted someone who showed up and competed. Maris was exactly that, and for the first time in years, he felt it. In the 1967 World Series, against the Boston Red Sox, Roger Maris played the best postseason baseball of his career. He batted .385, drove in 7 runs, and hit 1 home run. The Cardinals won in 7 games. He earned his 3rd championship ring, and this one, unlike the others, felt uncomplicated. He played 1 more season in St. Louis, helping the Cardinals reach the World Series again in 1968 before retiring. When the final numbers were counted, Roger Maris had appeared in 7 World Series, more than any other player in the entire decade of the 1960s. After baseball, he settled in Gainesville, Florida with his wife Patricia, his high school sweetheart from Fargo, the woman he had married in 1956 and never left. Together, they had 6 children. He coached youth baseball at a local school, taught the game quietly to boys who had no idea who he was, and he seemed, by most accounts, genuinely at peace. Then in 1978, 17 years after the record, something shifted. The Yankees invited him back to Yankee Stadium for Old Timers Day. It was the first time he had set foot in that building in over a decade. He had vowed never to return, but he went. Mickey Mantle introduced him to the crowd. The stadium rose. Every person in the building stood and applauded, and for a long moment, something that had been broken between Roger Maris and New York was, if not repaired, at least acknowledged. Then in 1984, the Yankees retired his number 9. A plaque was mounted in Monument Park. The inscription read, simply, "Against all odds." In 1983, Roger Maris was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. His response was characteristic. He did not withdraw. He did not seek sympathy. Instead, he organized an annual charity golf tournament in Fargo, not to raise money for himself, but to fund cancer research and care for others facing what he now faced. That tournament still runs today, and the money it raises goes entirely to the Sanford Roger Maris Cancer Center in Fargo, which opened in his name and continues to treat patients decades after his death. There is a story from those final years that his son Kevin has told in interviews, and it is one of the most striking details in this entire story. Howard Cosell, the famous broadcaster, came to the Maris family home in Gainesville to conduct an interview. He had done his research, as Cosell always did. And the very first thing he said to Roger Maris before a single baseball question, before any small talk, was this: "Roger, do you realize there was never an asterisk put in the record books?" Kevin Maris recalled his father's reaction. That was the first time Dad had ever heard that. I don't think any writer had realized it, with all the years they were reporting about the asterisk. Howard Cosell went to the archives, looked at the official record books, and there was no asterisk ever put in the book. For more than 20 years, Roger Maris had carried the weight of a mark that never existed. The entire country had been told, season after season, that his record came with a condition, and it was a fiction. A fiction invented in a press conference, amplified by sports writers, and repeated so often that it became accepted truth. He had faced those reporters, answered those questions, and absorbed that judgment, all for a ruling that had no legal standing, enforced in a record book that did not exist. On December 14th, 1985, Roger Maris passed away at MD Anderson Hospital in Houston, Texas. He was 51 years old. He was buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in Fargo, North Dakota, the city that had always known him best. In 1991, 6 years after his death, Commissioner Fay Vincent officially removed every qualification from Maris's record: 61 home runs, 1 season, no conditions. Go back to where this story began. A man stands before thousands of people at the All-Star game in 1980 and says, "Do you know what I have to show for 61 home runs?" Nothing. Exactly nothing. Now you know what he meant. He did not mean that the home runs did not happen. He meant that the system built around him had taken every possible step to ensure that what he achieved would feel diminished to him, to the public, to history. The asterisk that was never real, the broken hand that was never treated, the trade for a player no one remembers, the record acknowledged in full only after he was gone. And yet, in Fargo, North Dakota, there is a cancer center that carries his name. It has treated thousands of patients. His son Kevin coaches young baseball players at a school that named its field after Roger. His wife Patricia, his high school sweetheart from Fargo, has never left the community they built together. His son Kevin said it plainly, "Not many times in life do you get to leave a legacy as big as Dad did in the game and then have just as big a legacy left in a completely different way." Roger Maris spent his career being told that what he did was not quite enough. He hit 61 home runs and was handed nothing. But the Cancer Center in Fargo has given something back to thousands of people who never knew his batting average, who never cared about the 1961 season, who simply needed care and found it in a building that carries his name.